Check,
Happy
check.
anniversary.
There he is.
Check,
Hey.
check, check. Hi.
Hey,
Was,
how are you?
Not too bad.
All right, Matt. You know, this is completes 4 years of doing interviews with great guests like you.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you're here for our anniversary week, so I only want accurate forecasting, which you do anyway. So why don't you share your screen and tell us, buddy, what's on your radar coming into this new month, new quarter?
Sure.
You're right about a continuation move in Bitcoin from the last time you were here in a big way. So what are we looking at here? Nat gas, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of do what we always do, which is just kind of start from the macro and work our way down. Okay. You know, nothing's really changed in the big picture that I see, which is that, you know, we have long-term consolidation by these long cyclical moves up. You know, coronavirus was a nice expected dip, like 87 and other things. So, I mean, generally, you know, we're playing a risk-on environment. That doesn't mean that there isn't risk or that there can't be recessions along the way and things like that. But it seems to be a buy-the-dip environment. Natural gas is something that we've used as sort of a canary in the coal mine during these sessions over the last couple of years. So quite a long time ago, right around here, we were looking for a push up, which was a natural gas line explosion in Canada. Yeah. After touching the line, we walked it back down for a couple of years, and these green little bars here, I showed for, geez, I don't know, 6 months, and we got the nice bounce and a nice consolidation pattern here. So in a way, we can look at, you know, confirming this in terms of a risk-on environment, and here natural gas is, you know, kind of talking about the economy and whatnot. And you know, even if things just kind of break sideways here, that's still constructive. So that's what we like to see. So because this pattern walked itself down a couple times nicely, here's the bars pattern from here and in here, transposed here in red and green for people to see as you know, what things will bring. I'm not going to get into it too much, but when in January of 2020, when I was looking for a recession coming, I was looking for more of something that was going to be printed our way out of, with something more notable in 2023 or 2024. So I'm showing this future bars pattern here because we can see that, you know, if we were to hit the top of the trend again in 2023 or 2024, if that pulled back, that could be economic pressures as well too. So those economic cycles are holding as well with this. So I'd like to see kind of up in here into 2023, 2024 and pull back, which is something in here, up in here, which will probably be recessionary.
Is that the Dow chart that you're showing over there, Matt, when you keep going back?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. It was.
All
right. I would expect to see some sort of recession in this area here, and probably a larger one that tops it off in here. So that's going to be the long-term thing that we have been using as a gauge the last couple of years on the show, and we'll continue to use. We're going to slip our way over in metals here. Gold, I think we've talked about this a lot in the past, the classic Livermore chart where we see a cylinder and a breakout. This isn't necessarily because it's not, you know, sideways and down low, but just the pattern here with the breakout above the cylinder. So it was a nice technical pattern we've seen that is nicely walked its way down. I personally see a distribution pattern in here, followed by 1, 2, 3 drives down. So a 3 drives down with this huge cup could be making a handle in here for a push upwards. Now, originally, I'm not going to say originally, but last year, I was looking for, or not looking for, expecting a bit of a pause right around here for that cup and handle. Now, we broke through, prices come back down to kind of exactly where they should be. So I like that going forward on gold. I think that if
From that double bottom we have at 1680.
Yeah, so if we have this kind of like, push up with natural gas and things come down, and if we do have a little bit of woes in here, then, there's nothing to say that we can't have a giant cup and handle that takes off.
Okay, what would negate that? Would closes back under 1680 negate the handle?
Well, I think that this, yeah, well, so again, I was kind of thinking that this cup was gonna peter out in here somewhere, and this, it kind of blew off due to just like the world environment itself, like sometimes things accelerate. So what I'm looking more for is, like these bottoms and tops here. So to see exactly 1650, 1625 in here kind of hold, same as these lows and highs.
So long under, you like the longs, and would your stop loss be under last week's lows, which was similar to lows that we had prior around?
Yeah, I'm not really a short-term gold guy. I'm just looking for the bigger picture. But if that's if that's what the shorter-term guys say, then sure. I just see that that distribution, 3 drives.
Where would a long-term guy buy gold then? If you're a long-term guy?
Well, if long-term, I guess it's more of a mid-term thing in terms of talking about those pressures, in 2 years from now kind of thing, right? And gold doesn't move as fast as Bitcoin. So really we're just kind of looking for that. If it can scoop here at 16-ish, then that looks good. Especially when looking at silver, because whether it's the silver squeeze kind of meme or looking at the actual futures reports at the end of the week, I think there's potentials with silver, which is the reason why people would play it if gold is going to play out a cup and handle, right? So I just see it kind of like flagging out here on the short term. This spike above here was the whole like GameStop Wall Street Bets thing, and then
they found out it's easier to squeeze an individual stock than a global commodity market.
Right, exactly. So this area,
everyone was long up there anyway. So I mean, where was the squeeze? Okay, go ahead.
Exactly. So this area here around 25, which was kind of like a technical kind of push above what was forming here as a bit of a flag, it still holds. So even though there was those fundamental reasons going on, the technical pattern still held well. So if silver can dip down here towards 22, that would be a fantastic area for people to load up if they if we get a gold cup and handle, then silver buys at the bottom of this flag will only produce that's going to be at least a double, probably up into all-time highs, and then it would probably pause and shoot through like gold.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a nice look.
Yeah, and then the reason we're kind of
almost looks like 2 drives to me. I was talking to some of my mentees on Saturday, last couple of weeks, and the highs, the 2 highs that you have, and the last one was a higher high.
Yeah.
So we
Possible.
have 2 drives, maybe one more shot up.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So when we're talking about a cup and handle here or silver and that kind of risk, it kind of in a way goes against this idea, because if everything's going nice and up, then why should gold continue to go nicely and up? But when we look at what's happening in the world, we have countries like Canada piling on the most debt possible, and all the G7 countries, and we are seeing that coronavirus is the dark dot here, or sorry, is the light dot, and the financial crisis is the dark dot. We have spent so much more than 2008 that it's just phenomenal. So we're seeing the possibility for assets to run because of hot money in the system, and we're seeing sort of hedges.
Commodities.
Yeah, and now great segue, because I have 4 commodities charts. As we were looking at, sugar making pushes, corn making pushes, and even lean hogs here, so whether it's foodstuffs or meat or whatever, we're seeing that all of this, where is it? All of this hot money is making an
Chasing
impact.
everything.
Yeah. So,
you know, Matt, in 2008 or 2000 that people draw some comparisons to. We only had a bubble in NASDAQ.com stocks. We didn't have a bubble in real estate and bonds and commodities. And this is like crypto. It's the everything bubble, isn't it? What isn't a bubble?
Exactly. And, you know, I think that a person that is just trying to use, you know, sound logic to understand why something might be happening is going to say, well, you know, A is happening, so B shouldn't happen, or C is happening, so D shouldn't happen. But like you say, everything keeps going up, which doesn't necessarily always make sense, you know, in terms of, you know, let's call them traditional hedges. And I think that we can safely point towards record debt and on top of record debt. So yeah, it's becoming an inflationary environment. But at the same time, we have people not working, people straddled in personal debt anyway. So we have high national debt, high personal debt. Obviously, personal and national is different. You know, national debt can sometimes work to your favor, but these ridiculously high levels of personal debt with it, you know, aren't helping. So is all this money?
How do you square high record high personal debt with almost record high savings rate?
Yeah. So now they sound all like they're savings, the
opposite thing, you know?
Yeah. So is all that savings though just the upper portions of the economic brackets, and those people?
Oh, the K, the upper part of the K.
It you know, like that could be where that's coming from, because I don't know. So like my background, you know, coming from music, you know, most musicians have been waiting in the bread line the past year, so to speak, right? Like, you know, it's not the actual line, but, you know, like the government handouts. And so, you know, those people have no savings. And there's a lot of people just, you know, on the bottom of the economic ladder, you know, definitely don't have savings. So if savings are high, that's definitely, you know, the upper brackets. And the people in the middle, I don't really see them deleveraging their debt. So I don't really know. I think that that's kind of an opportunity missed by all these handouts, is like people have been, you know, spending the money and not trying to get rid of their debts. What do we got next? Oh, okay. Now we're on to crypto. Perfect. Halfway through. So right now we've got this nice little kind of pause in crypto. If you were to look on Bollinger Bands, I think there's a possibility for for what's called a 3 pushes, which is different than a 3 drives. It's just kind of when things peter out. And John Bollinger himself said that recently. So it's possible that this could be a top and things are oversold now, and for things to roll off, definitely possible. However, I think that there are a number of large players in the system, like the Bitcoin ecosystem, that have kind of signaled, you know, that that unless something changes on the macro side of things, that there's a lot of bullishness, I think, into the 70Ks. And then after that, you know, if we were to get a push into the 70s and we were to draw kind of a line up here, then we're coming into like blow off territory. So if we were to push into 74, 78, then, you know, a blow off near 6 digits is very possible. So, you know, it could be that we're oversold and we've reached the top and it pulls down, very much so. Or it could be like in here where we're having a little wobble and things are consolidating, and we have that push up to 74, 78, and then if that breaks up towards 100K.
What do you make out of India's? I saw an article about how they want to make it illegal to own cryptocurrency. I mean, does it have teeth, and will it have any impact on prices?
Yeah, I don't really think so, because it hasn't traditionally, and it hasn't in the short term. So it hasn't short term, and it doesn't traditionally in the history of Bitcoin impact price like Russia or China. India doesn't have a huge presence in mining. It's not in terms of like a per capita GDP per person, like personal wealth, there's not as much there and as much disposable income per person. So whereas something like another country that has a lot of,
like South Korea, if it came from
yes,
South Korea.
Yeah. Huh? Whereas in South Korea, what we're seeing is taxes going up and a more defined regulatory environment. And they pushed a lot of that was supposed to come in last year, and it's going to come in over the course of this year into the start of 2020.
Because Modi does have a track record of, playing with monetary issues and, by eliminating certain denominations of the rupee a few years ago that caused some, some problems for the society. So Modi, it's not beyond Modi to try and do something like this.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. I think in terms of the crypto ecosystem itself, India just doesn't have enough weight to throw around to really impact it. I think it's terrible for the people there. And as I would have to look up more of what's happening, but I know in the past when India was trying to do these kind of like soft bans and throwing it up and down, that it was, like everything is going to be banned, but you can still hold it. Or no, you can't hold it, but you can still do some mining. But wait a second, you can't have any any mining or any blah blah blah. But if you have some in your wallet, it's okay. So who knows what's going to go on? But no, I'm not.
One of our attendees is asking if you have thoughts or you want to share a view on Ethereum.
Yeah, so that's actually next here.
Oh, see,
on the yeah. All right. So Bitcoin. So as we transition to Ethereum on the next chart here, what I'd like to show is, so we're talking about this kind of pause in Bitcoin, but what I'd like to draw your attention to in terms of Ethereum is this old Bitcoin high here. If you were to draw this kind of a line across, it would be this area here where it kind of tried to break out a couple times, pulled back, and then went on its run. So Ethereum has a lot of these kind of characteristics right now. If you were to take this is the Ethereum USD high, and come across, what we've seen is kind of like a breakout and a pullback and a little bit of a breakout here. So just like this kind of pause and wiggle, just like in here. So if Bitcoin can push to 70K or 100K, or sorry, 74, 78 or 100, then what we're going to want to, what we will see is other altcoin USD pairs follow. Now, why this is important here for the next 10 minutes of the discussion is that as Bitcoin pulls up off of a bottom, people in the sector and people outside of crypto see Bitcoin move, and they just get into Bitcoin. And a lot of the altcoin pairs don't do very well. So here's, Ethereum following the USD chart up nicely, but the Ethereum Bitcoin chart is just kind of, zigzagging around along the bottom. Now, what generally tends to happen historically in Bitcoin markets is after Bitcoin breaks an all-time high, I'm going to go back and do this. BLX is like a thing of the all-time history and not just one exchange. So if people want to look at a much bigger history, but not be tied to just Bitstamp's price, which ends, over here. So when Bitcoin breaks a high like here and runs, or here and runs, we often see altcoins do most of their moves up in here or up in here. So because Bitcoin has broken this high and has run and is pausing, I think that as Ethereum's USD pair catches up to Bitcoin's USD pair, that we're going to see the Bitcoin, so that we're going to see the Ethereum Bitcoin pair make gains. And I think that we're going to see this a lot now with more altcoins. So I don't want to be the guy that says, if you have no crypto exposure, buy altcoins, because Bitcoin is king, and, things can change quickly in crypto, and you don't want to be left overexposed to, like penny stocks, right? Yeah. But if you have, let's say, like, envision out there like a pyramid, and at the bottom of the pyramid is most of your holdings, which is Bitcoin. And as you ramp up to the tip of that pyramid, you would make smaller and smaller incremental bets on more and more riskier altcoin plays. So, you know, here's your Bitcoin holdings, let's say, and maybe here's your Ethereum holdings, and then here's all the crappy altcoins you're going to buy, and then maybe this is your
You put
leverage.
Litecoin in that crappy at the top of the pyramid, Litecoin?
Maybe not in the top. This would be, you know, things that aren't in the top 100 or top 50 market cap. I would put,
okay,
you know, Litecoin in here, which is in a couple charts here, I think. Yeah. So
they haven't done as great of a PR job for that crypto, have they?
No, and a lot of those, yeah, and a lot of those bigger ones that are older kind of move quickly and all of a sudden towards the end of a cycle, much like silver will do to gold. Yeah. So, okay, so we're just going to pull it back here. We have this old Bitcoin high here, a little stall as it tried to break through it, and it ran. This is in USD. So we are seeing, I believe, that same thing in Ethereum here in USD. Now, when we look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, I want to rewind us back to the beginning of the interview with this lovely Livermore. Bink, 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 and take off. And I think that it's very possible that we're seeing that bink, 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 and we're going to take off here. Why? Because this ETH USD should follow this BTC USD, and because we're later in the cycle, the Bitcoin pair should outdo.
So now, you're looking for outperformance of Ethereum over Bitcoin for a period of time?
Yes, and I'm also looking at that with some others as well. So now here's two things I want people to really consider, because I think that if Bitcoin breaks into 70, and if it breaks through 70 into 100, everything else is going to take off. Everything else will find their way to run to, and that will be a true kind of mania stage to this, okay? So for people that are less, have less history of crypto, when you see something new, here's Uniswap, new is good because there are less bag holders, okay? So when something is running and it's new, you can buy the dip and go for the run with everyone else because there's not everybody looking to sell. So how you can kind of do that is go to CoinMarketCap, or I think there's another one like CoinGeek. There's a few of them. You can just start and work your way down the list, and you're going to find some, like Uniswap, that are in the top 10 or 20 or 50 that have totally had their run already. If you're going to play these ones, you know, that's fine. They're up 10 times already. You've definitely got more risk. But if you're playing the breakouts or strong dips, you know, you're going to be okay. But if we come back to this list and find some older ones like Ethereum or Litecoin or Stellar, and we'll have a look at those. Well, we're seeing Ethereum's Bitcoin pair, which hasn't outperformed yet. We're seeing Litecoin's Bitcoin pair, which is way down here, and typically at the end of a cycle ends up, you know, at least at 0.01, but usually up around here. So we have multiples to go to the upside. And here's Stellar along the bottom. Distribution pattern, 1, 2, 3 drives, long sideways. And I think that this will break up and follow with those other ones. So again, for newer, oh shoot, I don't want to mess up my stuff here. For newer people, when you see newer coins, you know, you can go for the run because there's no bag holders. The sell-offs are strong, but so are the bounces, so you can get out. Now, if you're looking on
so buy the new IPOs, not ones that have launched that there's already people looking to sell to break.
Yeah, and when you have coins like Litecoins that are way older, as the price goes up, people want to, you know, cash out if they bought, you know, and have been holding and didn't sell, right? So again, that's what makes those violent and quick and late in the cycle. So now we see these other coins like BTT, BitTorrent that is a bit older. It's been around for a cycle. You know, it's still going too. You know, whether it be the Uniswap, where did I guess I lost it. The Uniswap example, which is a brand new coin running, or if you take BTT, which is a bit of an older coin, not super old, but you know, and it's found a way to go too. So again, I think we're pushing our way into a real speculative mania side of things. People can just go to a top 100 kind of thing and start searching through the charts, and things that I think you're looking for are, accumulation sideways, and you're playing the breakout. You're looking for any of these, low market cap coins, and you're really looking at the volume. I can't stress enough that if, I know penny stocks and crypto are different, but with crypto garbage coins, as soon as you're seeing low volume and not a lot of selling, and the price is just kind of going and then all of a sudden here, boom, 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 volume starts coming in. Go for the run, because
because volume precedes price.
Exactly. And with crypto, you can also look at more on-chain analytics too. And if the same wallet is just piling in coins, a couple $1 million every few days, and that wallet isn't sending anything out, and the chart's just looking green on the volume, like, go for it. Like, this is your chance. This is only going to happen every couple of years.
Hey, Matt, we're starting to run out of time in a few minutes, but I want to ask you something that, the story keeps changing. Mm-hmm. Is crypto, in particular Bitcoin, a hedge against a weaker dollar or a stronger dollar? Because when the dollar is weak, I've seen stories that it's a hedge against a weaker dollar. And early on, most holders of Bitcoin really believed in the deflation part of it, and it was actually there was going to be a strong dollar, so they would buy only Bitcoin, but they didn't want to spend their dollars. Am I correct in this, or am I way off base?
I mean, okay, so I guess like a base case is just that. So we'll call them Bitcoin maxis, the Bitcoin maximalists. I think that their kind of viewpoint is that, the value of fiat currency just goes down. And because Bitcoin is a fixed supply, mixed with the fact that that fixed supply is something that people put value towards, makes it that Bitcoin becomes a hedge against the dollar,
a weaker dollar.
Yes. Whereas I was going to say, whereas there's definitely times when it's like the DXY goes down overnight and Bitcoin goes down overnight, or goes up overnight. Like perfect inverse relationship. And then there's other times where it's just risk on and everything goes right. So. There's two variables. One is that in the real world, we're seeing all this hot money come into the system, so it's got to go somewhere. And damn it, what was the other point? It was variables.
About it. During a period of a strong dollar, it's also a hedge against deflation.
Yeah, and
some people felt that way.
Yeah, and I just don't know if it's really going to play that way. I just think that Bitcoin kind of acted like gold, which is what I said would happen. If we get a strong economic contraction, that Bitcoin's just going to follow. So I think that, at the end of the day, people want to eat. And if they have to sell their Bitcoin or their gold or their Amazon or whatever it is, that's what they're going to do, right? So I think that just, a macro environment that's not too bad mixed with, this, structural, cyclical risk on is positive for Bitcoin. But as we come into any sort of recessionary pressures, I don't think that necessarily is going to hold true. We haven't seen it yet. If it happens, that's fine, and that's great and awesome. That would be great to see Bitcoin make that turn. But I don't necessarily see that as as Bitcoin is the hedge.
Okay, if you like Matt's stuff, he's showing this is your website, right, buddy?
I got a couple things that I do stuff on. So there's the Twitter profile, DJ Thistle 01, and then this one is simply therealaltseason.com, and then click the first one here. This gives a background on what alt season is, how often it comes around, and then there's one final article here on how I think people can trade it. So we're really just looking for these long sideways periods with a little bit of breakout. Go for it, and And then the other thing is there's a lot of coins that seem to just kind of move like once a year. So when things are, again, just kind of sideways and doing whatever, and you start to see a little volume, then, you know, that's your yearly time to go for a run. Anything that is kind of like here, that's been scraping along the bottom, and then we've had kind of like, I don't know, we'll call it like a protracted Wyckoff spring over the winter. Any breaks above those are coins to look at, because again, some coins have run and some coins haven't. And then I'm just going to finish off with, yeah, Litecoin, you know, historically speaking, tends to end up around here and is now down along the bottom. I'm not saying pile in, but these are places where people can find a little bit of risk to take.
Okay, well, you know what? You're a DJ and you spin records. You can certainly spin a chart and a narrative as well, my trading.
Thank you, sir.
So I mean, you know, and many of your calls has been music to people's accounts. So I want to thank you. Thank you for being with us and your giving spirit of sharing, you know, what you see. I appreciate that, Matt, and you know, hope that this year is a great one for you and all the people that you work with, and look forward to having another conversation with you in the rotation down the road. So again, thank you very much for pointing these things out in crypto. It's a little bit undercovered here.
Yep.
And really think that you're one of my go-to guys in crypto. So thank you,
awesome.
DJ.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I just want to say, you know, thanks for everyone that listens and you know, follows after and gets into crypto. And thank you very much for having me on like the 4-year jam here. And look forward to it in the future.
I look to being able to talk to you for the next 4. All right,
awesome.
buddy.
Beautiful.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. That's a wrap, everyone. I'll see everyone for Turnaround Tuesday. Hope to have some, be able to hear you guys tomorrow when I start the webinar. And don't forget to join the team. Also, if you're watching on YouTube right now, just click the like button or unlike if you didn't like what we did today. Maybe, you know, comment about my weakness with technical issues that I run into every once in a while, you know, and the anxiety attacks I have trying to figure it out. And comments are welcome too if you're viewing our webinars on YouTube. So join the team for the Morning Edge in about 11 minutes. That's a wrap. Remember, don't just count your pips or altcoins or crypto, count your blessings. And we'll see everyone tomorrow for Turnaround Tuesday. Adios.